If your block print looks like this, then you're ready to start carving. I have my design transferred to my soft cut, and I've gone over it with a black marker line. You can see some lighter gray areas where I have started cutting already. I've used this for some demonstrations already, but there's still plenty to cut. There are 4 different sizes of linoleum cutters we use. The smallest is a 1, and you can find the numbers to these right here on the back. It has a very small tip. It's used for super fine carving. We hardly ever use it. The 2 is slightly bigger. So if we look at them this way, let me hold it here. So the 2 is on the left. The 2 is a narrow V, and the 3 is a slightly wider V. And then the 5, in comparison, looks like a great big scoop. So I'm going to start with a 3, and we want to keep all of the black lines, and we're going to be cutting out anything that's white. So to start with, I never want to have my hand in front of my blade because I could cut myself. So I'm going to keep this here, and then I'm just going to skim across the surface on the inside of that black line. I don't want to gouge too deep because this is a 2-sided print, which means that if I finish early and I have time, I could make a second print on the other side. Now I'm carving on the outside of that same black line. Nice gentle scoop. I'm going to keep track of all these little shavings because we're going to throw those away. So you see I went to the inside and the outside of that line. You can see here I'd already started to carve to the inside and outside of some of these other black areas. I call this step edging your design. So here I'm going to edge on either side of these black shapes. If you make a mistake, I'm going to move that so I can see better. If you make a mistake and you cut into the black line, that will show up in your print. Now I want to cut across this way, so it's actually easier for me to flip my print so that I'm always carving straight across from myself. I always want to be kind of carving away like this, and I can also go here. I'm always thinking about where is my other hand so that I don't accidentally cut myself. And if you see a neighbor whose hand is in a bad spot, let them know. So now I've got one more spot to edge on the inside of this wing, and the entire wing has been edged. So before I can start cutting the rest of the design, I really need to go through and edge inside of these feathers, inside outside of the tree, the tail, and the face. Once I have finished that, then I'm going to start thinking about cutting out all of this white spot. So with the tree, and even though I haven't edged, I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Let's say I've edged this. When I cut the tree, I want it to kind of look like bark, and I have kind of a messy line for myself there. I'm just going to create a line. So if I wanted it to look like bark, as I am carving away this white, I could do kind of a curvy little line like this. And when it prints, it's going to look like bark. And I need to almost like build it up side by side by side so that most of that white area has been cut out. Now, when I get close to here, I haven't edged this side of the tree, and it's a good idea to do that before I get too far to make sure that the inside edge of my tree will show up. I can keep going with this, and I would continue to cut like that until I have built up the whole inside of the tree with that bark. So you can see just in this area, I'm getting that wavy look of the bark. I still need to go up into these branches. Then when I go to cut the feathers, I can think about, should I cut the feathers going up and down or side to side? And probably the birds of the feather are going up and down. So I might even take, what do I have, a 3? Actually, I like that side. The 5 is used mostly for the sky, like very large areas. So here, in order for this to become a white wing, I'm going to edge side by side by side, and the way that I'm cutting is going to show up in the prints. So I'm going to make sure that everything stays going up and down. Okay, and I would just continue doing that side by side by side all the way through. Now you can see here on the eyes that I started doing some other fun things. I should finish edging it before I continue. So if I edge inside of this circle and this, then what I was doing, because I wanted those eyes to really stand out, so as I was cutting this white area, I was thinking almost about like a sun that's bursting, and I'm going around and around like this. So any time that you change direction with your cuts, that just is going to add interest later to your print. You can look at some samples in the room and try to guess which direction those were cut. There I cut a little too far, so I'm just going to edge it and grab that overcut. There we go. I still need to edge the inside of the eye right there. So this was a number 2. And then just before I stop the video so you can see what it looks like, I'm going to carve a number 5 in the sky. And if my bird is mostly going to be going up and down, I'm going to have my sky go side to side. I'm going to turn the block so I can cut this way easier. And again, I could think about making the sky perhaps curve a bit. And I've already edged on the outside of that bird, which gives me a little buffer so that I don't have to worry about cutting into the bird. But if I want this sky to show up as white, I need to cut side by side by side until all of that is gone. And again, we want to think about going the same way. I've had a couple students get bored, they flip this over and they just start carving on the back. Now this is a student's abandoned work, so already it does have some stuff on it. But as long as I don't have a cut, I could still do lots of things with this. But once you start just randomly cutting back here, you've kind of wasted the back side of your print. As you can see, like I'm using the back side of this wasted print to do my sample on this side. So you can get 2 prints off of each block. So take care of the back.